Hello, I'm a Spanish native who has been learning English for 2 years now, Japanese for 11 months, and I'm a calisthenics athlete. And that's why I want to introduce discipline to language learning. You probably have been doing immersion for some time now. You have been noticing results here and there. You can understand way more than some months ago, but you can't speak. And I think that most of the time we underestimate the amount of time that we need to put in input in order to actually speak. So I'm going to be talking about that. If you have learned any other language, you know that there's no way that you're speaking with the vocabulary that is used in a book, but you can understand it, so this is what I mean by your output is 10 times your input. For me, I probably have a C1 of understanding in English. I would probably even say that a C2, but my speaking level I'm sure that does not go to even a B2, so now you can probably get the idea. Maybe the thing that you actually need to do in order to improve your speaking vocabulary is to simply get more advanced vocabulary in your immersion content. When that vocabulary is super easy for you, you're probably going to start talking with whatever vocabulary that you want. This is probably the way that a lot of people will prefer to learn how to speak. It's just relatively easy and way more enjoyable. There's two types of vocabulary that we have. The passive is the vocabulary that we know the meanings of, and then the active vocabulary is the contrary, the vocabulary that we use on a daily basis. You probably wouldn't have a problem saying the word refrigerator, but the word enormity is one that you wouldn't really use. But if you're reading or watching something, you will understand it. The point is, in order to use the passive vocabulary, we need to make a conscious effort until it gets inserted to our vocabulary. We need to see how that word is used, its different meanings, try to use the word on some sentences until we just get used to using the word and then it becomes part of our active vocabulary. Now, this way of learning vocabulary is probably the one that hardcore learners will use. One way is better than the other one. It depends. I think that if you're trying to learn how to speak without much level in your input and you don't have that much time, the second one is probably the best. But if you have time and your goal is to understand the language, either way you need to go through those phases of immersion for some hours daily. So the one I personally do and find more enjoyable is just the immersion one, if you are not really trying to speak in 3 to 6 months. I don't really find the logic on doing the second one unless you like doing super ultra hard things. My recommendations for you today, if you are not that disciplined, will be to just stick with the input one, because if you are a whip like me, you like watching anime, YouTube videos or Netflix, and it's something that either way you are going to do it. So don't forget that in order to actually speak, the first phase that you need to go through is to be able to understand the person you're speaking to and then be able to at least answer a question. After you're able to just answer questions, everything is usually easier from there. So when I first started talking in English, I noticed first that I could understand people. And that was actually surprising because understanding people is way harder than just hearing YouTube videos or series on Netflix, right? The second phase was to be able to answer the questions with very short responses. And then before you notice it, you're in the third phase and you can pretty much talk fluently with whatever person. You can still fumble, but it's not something that you really care a lot about. Thank you for paying me your attention and be sure to check out my Patreon in the description if you like my content. Thank you.